like you to begin arrangements for Dr. Hannibal Lecter to be eaten alive.
Well, that escalated quickly. On the back of the saddening news that NBC has decided not to renew its critically acclaimed series for a 4th season comes another brilliant episode. Quality has never been in doubt throughout the whole show, so let's hope that another outlet that's out there picks Hannibal up. Now onto the episode itself. This episode was designed to be a follow-on from last season's finale. Since now we know all of who lived and died, it fit in perfectly to allow each story to be explained in full. Not only did we see the re-emergence of Mason Verger in the opening scene of all things, but another vital character to the Hannibal story also made his return. Dr. Frederick Chilton, in many viewers' eyes, has been presumed dead ever since Miriam Lass wrongly shot him towards the back end of last season. However, it appears Chilton survived the ordeal and had plenty of scars to show for it. Naturally, his desire to catch Hannibal is greater than ever, and in having a very discreet meeting with Mason, Chilton quite easily surmises that Mason's intentions do not follow the same path of his own. Unlike Chilton, who would like to taunt and poke Hannibal through the cells of the Baltimore hospital, Mason has a very different plan. Once caught, he would like nothing more than to take his sweet revenge by, as we presume, to feed Hannibal to his pigs. Now the most intriguing returning character was Alana for sure. It's a very interesting path for her character arc to take. Obviously, she'd suffered the same, if not more, from the ordeal that Hannibal put them all through. But siding with Mason Verger and making a big play for revenge, that's a lot of bold moves to make, and quite frankly, I like it. She was the least involved character last season who played the girlfriend and blindly believed everything that Hannibal said, so to have her make a play for revenge is certainly believable whilst bringing her character back to the forefront. So let's jump into it. Welcome to the top 5 moments of the episode, followed by the overall verdict.
How long does it take you to put your face on in the morning?
Now that I've got the routine down, no time at all.
In the opening sequence, we witness the return of Dr. Frederick Chilton as he visits another one of Hannibal's victims. During their discussions, it becomes quite apparent very quickly for Frederick that he and Mason working together clearly wouldn't work out. They have very different plans for what they would do with Hannibal once he was caught.
I think I need to look elsewhere for somebody to attend to my emotional well-being. Goodbye, Dr. Chilton.
Happy hunting. That I did not warn you.
Cannot see what you will not see.
Alana remained the only member from the bloodbath of last season, with their future still up in the air. But we got our answer. Alana survived the finale along with Will and Jack, and now she thinks very differently. She wants revenge for what was done to her, and has the perfect partner in mind for that.
You're preparing the theater of Hannibal's death. I'm just doing my part to get him to the stage.
This was a heartbreaking scene to watch. As Jack mourned Bella's passing, he noticed a familiar letter that lay in the flowers. He knew that at some point, Bella would die on him, and he didn't want that same fate to befall Will.
I know what's coming for you, Will. You don't have to die on me, too.
After talking with Chilton about being in the best possible world, we see Will imagine other scenarios where things could have played out differently. The conversation that follows between Jack and Will is very engaging because in truth, no one, including Will, really knows what he's going to do if he finds Hannibal again.
And because I wanted to run away with him.
I would like you to begin arrangements for Dr. Hannibal Lecter to be eaten alive.
Things are beginning to heat up. As we revisit the Verger estate, we see Mason's new carer, Cordell. Mason, of course, pays him a large salary to feed him, care for him, along with anything else that may entail.
Do you have a preference for how you would like him prepared?
If I had lips, I would smile.
My overall verdict for this week's episode of Hannibal is a 9 out of 10. This was my favourite episode so far this season. The score is getting a little bit predictable so far, isn't it, this season? But hey, if predictable is a 9 every week, then I ain't complaining. So with 4 episodes down, we have now officially passed the midway point of the first half of the season. And remember, this story arc wraps up on episode 7. This episode was crazy in the sense of characters. The returning cast included Alana, Chilton, Margot, Mason, Bella, and we met Mason's new carer, Cordell. As I mentioned briefly earlier, this episode was designed to be a follow-on from last season's finale, which is why I felt it worked out so well. In previous episodes we've seen Will and Jack in Europe, but there was always that gap and questions of how did they get there? How did Jack survive? What happened to Alana? All of those questions were answered in this episode. In the opening scene, Dr. Chilton returned following the gunshot wound he suffered to his face last season. Many fans believed the character, who is key to later instalments in the books, died during that encounter, which was without a doubt a possibility. But with no revelation about the events that followed throughout the final episodes of Season 2, it became very clear that Chilton's future was shrouded, as he could have indeed survived the event. And I am so glad that he did. Raul Esparza is probably my favourite side character in the whole show, and was used very well in visiting each of the surviving cast members. He didn't come out of the events unscathed, but honestly, none of them did. Jack has now pretty much lost everything. He was forced into retirement at the FBI, and he had to take the heartbreaking decision to put his wife Bella out of her misery. You always felt that Lawrence Fishburne and Gina Torres were having genuinely heartfelt moments together, which I suppose is in part to them being married in real life, but it's a shame to see Bella go. But just as Jack said, we knew it was coming. Now I talked about Alana's arc earlier and how she now has a much more meaningful story than she's had for a while. But everyone, put your hands together and give Joe Anderson a round of applause. Yes, certainly, it was a shame that Michael Pitt didn't return as Mason Verger. But it's a perfect time to recast someone if they've just had their face eaten and deformed. And my, Mason is still as twisted as ever. The voices between both actors even sound very familiar, which is an added bonus for us fans. I hate it when characters get recast. Of course that couldn't be helped in this situation, but damn, what a fantastic replacement and a brilliant performance to match. I can hardly tell the difference. So we have 3 episodes remaining for the current story arc, so where do we go from here? Alana and Mason are waiting for Will to lead them to Hannibal. Jack is trying to stop Will from trying to find Hannibal. Chilton is wanting to catch him, and Hannibal is drawing everyone to him. So sooner rather than later, someone is going to get their way. The question that remains is who? Continue the support for Hannibal in any way you can in hope that the show will get picked up by another outlet. Check out my other video, which is linked in the description, for other ways that you could help save Hannibal. We all want the show to continue and know that it would be an absolute travesty if that wasn't the case. So hopefully, if enough of us band together, our voices will be heard and someone will save Hannibal. Thank you very much for watching. Please leave a like, comment and subscribe if you enjoyed the review, and I'll see you next week.
I think I need to look elsewhere for somebody to attend to my emotional well-being. Goodbye, Dr. Jordan.
Happy hunting.